surround everyone was crying. The light was fading like the light's back now.
Hello, welcome to my channel for Evolved Humans. I'm Miss Day. This is a pretty straightforward reading. So I feel like for whoever this reading resonates with, there is a really nurturing part of you that I don't think a lot of people get to experience. I think animals get to experience it. I think that animals connect with you. Birds, especially, even deer. Like, I feel like animals connect with you wherever you are. And there's also like this weird authority type of view. I feel like you just, this is going to be different with everybody, but it's like the first thing I felt was that you strive to not be what the authority that you experienced was like. I think that has to do with the masculine and the feminine. I'm not sure which this is for, but I feel like, because I think it was both. For some of you it was different. But I feel like there was an authority figure that was very overbearing in their control. And I think almost in like a lacking in an emotional way. I even like feel like emotional neglect. And I think that the feminine in you has sort of like kind of worked through a lot. I think you used to be awake at night a lot. Maybe when you lived at home, or even just like in another connection in your adult life. But like it was when you were living in a certain, feels like a family thing. And I think that you kind of like thrived at night because you were alone. And I feel like you went into healing with nature. Like I think nature kind of drew you out of your having to be shelled off. And for some of you, I feel like you even may, this is not for all of you, but I feel like for some of you, you may have gone through a shy period of time in your life because you didn't know where you fit in. And I think a lot of that was because of this overbearing type of like no real opportunity for your own self to kind of blossom. In that it was kind of, you know what I thought of? Oh my gosh, that's crazy, because it feels like the word rigid was in my mind before starting this reading. And I was like, that's a weird word to come in, but I don't even use that word. Like, I think it's the right word because it's the one that is coming into mind again. And I feel like that's how you experienced someone in your life. It may not have had to be an authority figure, maybe even someone that just thought they were an authority figure for you. But I do feel like there's a certain masculine, especially, and it came through the mom or the mom or the dad. Sorry, but it did. I feel like this came in some family areas, not for everybody, but like it came in a very like rigid environment type of way. And I feel like you almost like filtered that, and you kind of like, it makes me think of literally playing a goalie, where you were like keeping things out so that they didn't go through, so that you didn't become that exact reflection, because of, I think you knew how much it wounded you and others around you. I feel like because of that type of behavior and treatment, I think that you may have had a need or someone around you had or has. This is a weird feeling. It's a need it's not a need because nobody needs to be deceptive, but it's almost like this fear in an immature way, like an emotional reaction to cover up instead of to face and take, accountability, have accountability. Weird. So that's crazy, because one of the things that I was thinking earlier today was that like accountability and authority are kind of like a drawing thing to one another. So you have to be accountable in order to experience authority. Otherwise, like, what do you have authority over if there's nothing to be accountable for? So it's like, whoever you are, I think that you developed accountability in the way that you played like goalie to keep bad certain reactions, certain things from going through. You were like, no, I'm going to stop this. It even makes me feel like people that I think some of you have done like work where you feel like you broke like certain family cycles. And I think that some of you, I feel like your healing came in, I think that you went through pain. I think you went through a period of depression. Some of you may still have sort of like just recently sort of come back out into the light with yourself. But the crazy part of this is I feel like there's like emotional reaction of crying a lot that is either happening right now or you already did that, where it's like you've cried out so many specific things, periods of time. It's like you just really let it out. Really, really healthy. I mean, I know it feels awful, but it's healthy. Okay, so then another thing that I was thinking, it's it feels very much like there's a huge message from a masculine, like the masculine higher frequency that's like, cut it. Like the same way that you played goalie before to the negative reflecting right back off of you, I feel like there's a certain lack. Okay. It feels like there's a mindset that they're trying to help you sort of be free of. And I feel like you have, this sounds kind of rude, but I feel like you have a more narrow mindset than what you actually deserve. Like, I think that you're seeing, okay, I need this and I need this and I need this to happen and I need this to happen. And I feel like what they're saying is you need to think a little bit bigger. Like you need to think out of the box and then see if the box is really there. Like I think that you're keeping yourself in, okay. This is nuts, but I feel like someone needs to hear this because it's such a pure intention. I mean, that's the only type of person that would like try to not reflect bad behavior because it hurt them. It's someone who wants to do good in the world. So it feels like a really positive, whoever this reading is for, it feels like a direct and harsh moment where they're saying you have done all the work, you have listened up to this point. Now going forward, they're like saying leave everything where it belongs because you have a larger capacity. Someone is like not seeing their own huge potential. You know what? It feels like it's because of things that you lacked in a connection type of way. It's almost like there's a timid feeling. Wow, that's interesting because it felt like there was a period of time, like it reflects back to earlier in life. Interesting. It's like there's timidness, right? Anyway, it's like when you're going forward, I think that they're telling you you are not as shaky as you feel when you're coming into this next step, because some of you may be worried about how alone a bigger possibility feels. Because like a lot of times when you picture big things in your future, like a lot of people can't picture that with you. So you feel like, okay, this means I have to go completely alone. And it's like, that even reminds me of something that I heard, which is, I've said before in the YouTube readings that Steve Harvey said, where he's like, when God closes a door, there are other ones. Like it's just one little blip. And I feel like for whoever this is, the emotional growth, like that has happened. So your next phase, it's almost like someone is literally reaching. It's like you need other people. I don't mean a lot of other people, so I hope this doesn't sound mean, but I feel like you need or are waiting for validation from outside sources. And I feel like what they're telling you is like, you are the validation. You are grown, like you are matured out of the experiences you've gone through, and you didn't reflect that same thing. So I feel like going forward, being an authority figure needs to not, it's like you need to stop worrying that you're going to reflect what you endured or what you may have experienced doing before. It's like going forward, they want you to stop, they want you to let go of this thing that holds you back and makes you think you can't be too assertive. You can't be too aggressive. It's like, yeah, don't be mean, but I feel so much like this is for, like, don't stay in the shadows. I don't know why it feels like that, because it doesn't feel like you literally stay alone. It just feels like maybe, you know what, you know how some people are more comfortable when they're sort of just like kind of able to sink into the background in a group of people or like in a family, like they're the quiet one or something, or maybe not quiet, but they get to just sit back and observe. That's what it feels like. It's like you think that that's how you're gonna stay okay. And I feel like what they're saying is that's not ever where you belonged. Like, this is crazy. This just makes me think of a moment. It's like the strongest, the coolest thing about authority. It's like the coolest way to be an authority figure, just in general, is when you have all the power in your hands to completely destroy everything, but you would never. You know, like that's authority that is safe and trustworthy. It would never destroy everything. It's like that feeling is not the feeling you got from the authority that you experienced early on in whatever period of life this was. This could have even been a relationship and someone who was very overbearing and controlling. Because I feel like a lot of you, I think that it was even trauma developed where you had to hide away just to experience your own energy. Where like I think some of you really endured some hard times, periods of time, and you had to heal. But I feel like you found yourself in there and you healed and you came out of it, and it's almost like they're saying, okay, step off the sideline. Like start to think that there is a reason and that you actually have a right to have the floor, and like leave this fear behind, because it's already evident that you have not become that. You will not become that. Like that is one thing you can be sure of. Crazy. This feels really deep for like, you know, serious connections. Okay, so I'm going to leave it at that. I hope this is beneficial for someone. It feels very much like it's a supportive thing where they're like, you don't need other people to give you valid, to make you valid. They're saying you are valid. Like you are safe. You know, they're giving you that. It's like, let yourself receive it. Whew, okay, so I'm going to leave it at that for real. All right. I hope you have a really good rest of your night, and subscribe to my channel if you feel like the readings resonate at all, or if you feel like they're beneficial. I really want these to be giving you messages you need when you need them. So whenever you do feel the messages, even if you don't get the whole reading personally, like whatever does resonate, let yourself have it. And if you're interested in personal readings, you can email me. That email is in the description of my channel. And also the members only, if you are interested in just learning how to connect better as your own self in your own vehicle so that you can connect to the higher frequencies, I love that too.